Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, causes no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, 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 whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, causes no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. One more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, causes no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Now, hopefully this works. So as a round this time, and Reverend AJ, will you raise your hand? He's going to be group number 1. And Stefan, will you raise your hand over here? Cool, so you'll be group number 2 if you're on this side. So group 1, let's start. And come, come, whoever you are. Group 2. Come, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, of leaving, causes no caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, causes no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Beautiful, thank you.
Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Rochester, where our mission is that through spiritual connection in community, we listen deeply to others and ourselves, we open to wonder and transformation, and we serve together with love and humility. I'm Reverend AJ. I use he and him pronouns. I'm one of the ministers that leads this congregation. And we have Reverend Sherry, our lead minister, leading worship today. They broke their ankle earlier this week, so we're sending healing energy to them and making some adaptations as we need to. But they're leading a service this morning on that 1/3 of that mission, the listen part. So listen closely to them and many of the others who are helping lead worship. So we've got Tiffany and Rain and John and Stephen offering stories and reflections, Pablo with beautiful music, and our bell choir, our AV team keeping us all connected to each other here and across the internet, and all of you. Each one of you coming here this morning makes church possible, makes worship possible. It is good to be together. If you are here for the first time or one of your first times, please stop by the welcome desk if you haven't already to make sure that we get to know you and can help you get connected around here. And if you didn't come early at 10:30, please know that you are invited to come between the two worship services for connection in small group programs. It's different every Sunday, but every Sunday we have something called the Inquirer Series designed for newcomers especially. If you're here because you are going through a hard time or you were worried about somebody else, please reach out. We have a pastoral care team that can respond. We even often have a pastoral care associate. I see Marianne in the back with the beige and rainbow stole. If you need to, during the service, you can connect with her, or throughout the week, reach out. We have folks available to offer that listening ear and that supportive presence. This is the last Sunday of our 2-service schedule for a little while. Next Sunday, we begin our summer schedule with 1 service beginning at 10:30, followed by Connection at 11:30. So if you came to Connection early, great. Show up at the same time. You'll just do worship first and then Connection. If you came just at 11:30 for the worship service, this message is for you. Please come earlier at 10:30 starting next week and going through the summer for worship, followed by connection. And then we have our congregational meeting coming up on June 7th. We will elect new leaders, affirm the budget pass the budget for the next year. So that will be after the worship service during that connection time. June 7th, congregational meeting. Check the newsletter for information about knowing who the candidates are, budget forums that'll be coming up over the next couple weeks so that you have what you need to know to be prepared as a member to vote. And now we prepare ourselves for worship. Please settle yourself in what way is best for you, perhaps with a deep breath in, letting it out gently. We acknowledge with respect the Seneca Nation, keepers of the Western Door and part of the Haudenosaunee people on whose ancestral and contemporary lands First Unitarian now stands. And I'm going to invite Stephen to light our chalice this morning, but he's going to need your help with the unison words. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit one more time as we sing Over My Head. If you're familiar with it, sing along right away. If not, we'll sing it slowly one time and then jazz it up a little. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a joy somewhere. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a joy somewhere. Over my head, I hear singing everywhere. Over my head, I hear singing everywhere. Over my head, I hear singing everywhere. There must be a joy somewhere. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. Over my head, I see freedom in the air. There must be a joy somewhere. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear singing everywhere. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a joy. There must be a joy. There must be a joy
Good morning. I'm Tiffany. I use she, her pronouns. So Reverend Sherry thought of me for today because I'm a therapist, so it's actually my literal job to be a good listener. But in typical human fashion, when The story that first came to mind when I thought about what to say today was actually about a time that I messed it up. So I talked to my child about it, and we agreed that it would be a fitting story to share. My middle child was diagnosed with autism when they were 15 years old, so about a year and a half ago. Late diagnosis like this comes with what I came to think of as kind of a strange gift, which is this opportunity to look back over our life and understand it in a totally different way. As I threw myself into learning everything that I can about late diagnosed autism, one thing that stood out to me as the most shocking and honestly the most important was the level to which an autistic child can learn over the course of their lifetime to stop listening to everything that their body tells about them, everything that they tell themselves about themselves. This room isn't too loud for me. Everyone else is doing just fine. This scent isn't overpowering. Everyone else says that it smells delicious. This intense, overwhelming emotion isn't that big of a deal. Everyone says that I'm just being dramatic. This topic that I find so interesting and exciting can't be that fascinating because everyone else is bored with it and sick of hearing me talk about it. To fit in, to seem normal, to be acceptable, my child learned to treat themselves as an unreliable witness to their own experience. They stopped listening to themselves entirely. It's honestly the opposite of listening deeply. It is shutting it down deeply. What broke my heart once I began to understand this was realizing how many of these silencing messages came from the person that loved my child most in the world, me. So when the diagnosis came, I threw myself kind of obsessively into learning how to listen to them better. Right now we're reading this book together about autistic burnout. It's aptly titled, autistic burnout is something that happens to a nervous system that's been ignored, overridden, or overwhelmed for years. So the book is aptly titled The Autistic Burnout Workbook, and it's by this incredible autistic author, Dr. Megan Neff. The book is a huge lesson in learning to hear yourself again. Your body, your needs, your interests, what overwhelms you, what restores you. And as my child practices noticing in themselves what feels good, what feels like too much, what sparks their enthusiasm, and what they truly need to rest, I'm doing it alongside of them. It seems there are plenty of similar stories that I've accepted over my 48 years of life that it turns out aren't really true for me at all. Learning to really listen to my child is helping me learn to really listen to myself. Sometimes listening, really listening, means turning off our ears and eyes to what the world is telling us and tuning in to what our own heart and our body is telling us. Letting go of the expectations, the judgments, the roles that we've performed for so long that we don't know where we end and this performance begins. Instead, listening to what is true for us, what brings us joy, what captures our minds, what fills us with love or with a fury that points to our deepest values. When we listen that deeply to ourselves, we can become the fullness of who we're meant to be in this world. Sometimes that happens when we stop listening to the stories that the world tells us about ourselves and we start listening to our own story. And isn't that why we come to church? To surround ourselves with a community of people who are willing to listen deeply as we express our personal story and to stand by us as we figure out what that story might be.
Thank you. So this is the listen part of our mission. I'd like to invite all the children up front here forward so that we can do the time for all ages. I'm very excited. My name is Stephen Spinder. I use he and him pronouns. I'm very excited to be up here today to give the time for all ages message to all of you and to all of you. Okay? This is going to be a good one. You guys ready? Now, here's the thing. I need your help with something that I think you're all pretty good at already. You're going to find out in a minute, okay? The problem is, I've completely forgotten how to brush my teeth. A little embarrassing, I know, but that's what happens. So, do you think you can help me? I'm sure you've all brushed your teeth, right? All right.
One time.
So, here... So I'm glad you're willing to help, but I have another problem. I can only take one direction, one instruction at a time. Okay, so Reverend Shire, do you think you can help us?
Oh, absolutely. I would be happy to take your directions and then pass them to you, Stephen. It would be a classic game of telephone. What could go wrong?
In the first, never mind. Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, so I want you to raise your hand if you think you can help me to do the first thing that I need to do in order to brush my teeth. And remember, we're going to go step by step, like one thing at a time.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Shall I call in, folks?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start here. What?
Pick up the toothbrush.
Pick up the toothbrush. All right, and how about you?
Instead of holding it like this with your pointer finger and thumb, hold it like this with your entire hand.
Instead of holding it with your pointer finger and thumb, hold it like this with your entire hand.
Yeah!
All right. Ember, what's next?
Put the toothpaste on the toothbrush.
Put the toothpaste on the toothbrush. Okay, and in the green shirt,
Open the toothpaste up.
open the toothpaste up. Open the toothpaste up. Felix, what's next?
There's a cap on the other end of the toothpaste that you have to twist to take it off.
So there's a cap on the toothpaste that you have to twist to take off. What's the next step? Anyone who hasn't spoken yet? Nope. Okay. Here in the Silas. Okay, squirt the toothpaste on the toothbrush. Squirt the toothpaste on the toothbrush. Okay. Right, how about right here? We'll start again. Only squirt a little bit of toothpaste on the toothbrush.
On the bristle.
On the bristle part. What's next?
Now, put the bristle end of the toothbrush in your mouth and make a back and forth movement with your hand onto your teeth.
Okay, so you're gonna put the bristle end of the toothbrush into your mouth and make a back and forth motion onto your teeth only. Okay, yes.
Make it with the toothbrush. Brush the bristle part about your teeth, not the rest of your body.
Okay, so make the movement with the bristle part on your teeth, not the rest of your body. And I think there's, in a moment, once there are others, anyone? Yeah, all right. Any next steps? Yes, Grace. Spit out the toothpaste into the bowl.
All of it.
All of it. All right, Felix, and then Rayton.
And then rinse off the bristle part of your toothbrush with the water in the cup.
Okay, so rinse off the bristle part of your toothbrush with the water in the cup.
I think that worked.
I mean, that works. Has he done it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now put the cap back on the toothpaste.
Oh. Can you repeat that direction for most of these people? Put the cap back on the toothpaste. The task isn't done until you clean up from the task. Okay. Put it on the hole and screw it is not an instruction I'm willing to pass on. Yes. All right, we've got too many instructions all at one time. Do we feel like Stephen has completed his job?
I think that was a great
Okay.
job. Okay.
Put down the toothbrush.
I
Great job,
thank
Steve.
you so much for helping me learn how to every day,
Do it every day, twice a day for the rest of your life.
the rest of my life. I'll probably be hungry the rest of my life too.
500 times a day.
I want to just take a moment to thank you all for helping me do something that I didn't really know how to do, and I couldn't have done it without you. So I want to thank you very much for listening and for your attention today, okay? And great questions. May this story about listening to hard and good instructions from helpful children unfold in your hearts until we are together again. Let's invite you to sing the children out to their new adventures.
So listening is a part of our mission because we think it is important for relationship, because we think it has the capacity to transform ourselves and others, to transform the world. And also because we like a challenge, and it is hard. Most of us aren't terribly good at listening, but we get better with practice. And so we're going to practice. As a meditation, a prayer, a way of paying attention. I'm going to invite you to find a partner, or you're going to do this meditation on your own. And the questions that you're going to be asked a number of times and will ask of your partner, so this will help you decide whether or not you want to do this solo or partnered, are what do you fear and what do you love? So if you'd like a partner, I'd invite you to find one now. All right. Don't be shy. Raise your hand if you'd like a partner but haven't found one yet. Someone will come to you. You can come up to me if you'd like. You don't have to come up to me. I guess that was like the most embarrassing option. I'm sorry that your chair is small. Okay, so decide who among you is going to be the first person to ask the question. Okay, so the question is, what do you fear? Look at your partner and ask them. And if you're the person responding, we don't need an essay here. A word, 3 words. We're talking about a phrase. Go ahead and ask your partner. Fear. What do you fear? And my guess is you've all had a chance to ask once and answer. So that same questioner partner, don't switch. you're going to ask again, what do you fear? What do you fear? Oh, great question. So a different answer. So you've now asked the same person twice, what do you fear? And ideally, they've given you 2 different answers. You're going to keep that same partnership. You're not going to switch. You're going to repeat this 5 more times. 5 more answers. All right, 10 seconds. Okay. So 7 times, the exact same question. Now you get to switch. And if you're doing it on your own, it's the harder road. You just keep going. The same question, 14 different answers. Ten seconds. All right, thank your partner if you haven't already done so. And we're going to do this again. But the question now is, and if you answered first last time, you're going to be the questioner this time. So reverse who goes first this time. And the question, repeated 7 times, asking each time, what do you love? And then the person answers, 7 different answers. 10 seconds. And now switch. If you're the person who's been answering, you're the one to now ask, what do you love? 7 times. Seconds. And as you're wrapping, thank your partner. I am so grateful to all of you. Grateful for listening deeply to others and to yourself. Those of you who chose to do it solo, you definitely had the harder path. I don't know about you, but 7 things that I fear is not something I feel like I want to carry around. And I assume I can come up with 2 or 3, and then I start to surprise myself. Did anyone name anything that was unexpected to them? Some of you are very in touch with your fears, I see. And some of you were surprised. It's even more surprising when you get to 12, 13, 14. How about love? Anyone get surprised by what they named? Anyone surprised by what they didn't name? Okay. Interesting stuff. Someone from the first service said, I got to go back to that because it turns out most of the people I was sitting with, I forgot. And I do love them. That's the thing about spiritual practice. It's a practice, and we return to it again and again and again. Thank you for listening to one another. Thank you for being a space where we can cultivate what it means to grow and to learn. Amen.
Good morning. For years, I questioned whether I was accepting enough to be a UU. I was uncomfortable with the feelings that arose when I saw people who broke with social conventions. Despite my awareness of these and my desire to change, these feelings held fast. Around 1 year ago, I began a meditation practice. What I have found to be most freeing is the encouragement to treat myself with kindness. Instead of the critical voices that I have carried around for most of my life, I am developing a gentle inner voice that observes without judgment. The guidance we receive weekly here at First Unitarian has been a guiding light for me when I'm going to tutor my students and I'm feeling insecure about who am I to try to guide these little people. I recite, "We serve with love and humility," and it puts me in the right frame of mind. As I try to open my heart to this community, I practice we listen deeply to ourselves and others. I find that as self-judgment lessens, it becomes possible to listen more deeply to myself. Feelings that would have evoked shame or guilt just become part of my story. I realized that I'm a bigot. In fact, I was raised to be a bigot. I imagined what it might be like, similar to in an AA meeting, where you stand and say, "My name is John, and I'm an alcoholic," to instead say, "My name is John, and I'm a bigot." As a child, my world was very constrained, and there were swift and severe retributions for stepping outside the boundaries. For most of my life, I have envied people who could say what they felt, who could express anger when they were abused in some way, and who could dance. I recognize that some of the discomfort I feel when seeing others step outside the box is a reflection of the response that I experienced. I am doing what I was shown by example is the right response when someone steps outside the box. Seeing this drains the power from these voices. I knew early in my life that I did not want to be a man, and at the same time, I knew that I was not a woman. It felt like I should be more careful. Where was I? It felt strange to have a friend refer to me recently as a kind man. I couldn't understand why he called me a man. For the longest time, I have not felt like a man because I refuse to give up cooking, sewing, and crying. Sewing. I find that I am troubled if I cannot tell a person's gender. One of the fourth graders I tutor and have known since third grade is one of these people. So I asked myself why this makes me uncomfortable. And as I'm taught in my meditation practice, you ask the question and then you listen. You just listen. You wait for your heart to speak. I find that I have rules about how to talk to boys versus how to talk to girls. And I can't tell which rules apply. So I thought I had overcome sexism in myself, and yet here it still is. It's a long journey, step by step. As I learn to be kind to myself and to accept myself as I am, it becomes possible to listen to others. I'm starting to feel like a man on my own terms. I'm just beginning this journey, but I have more curiosity and less trepidation than in the past. Deep listening to ourselves and to others is a wonderful thing to give and to receive. It is an ongoing story of grief, growth, and gratitude. I thank you for your kind attention.
We enter now into ritual to bring what is on our hearts and lay it at the altar of community and spirit, honoring the complexities of life. Bring to mind whatever grief, growth, or gratitude is alive within you. Online, you're invited to share in the chat, and here in the sanctuary, you're invited forward to light a candle. There's a basket of electric candles in the back if you prefer to use those. If you would like an usher to bring you a candle, please raise your hand. We light our first candle today for Tom Nash, Cheryl Grasuski's husband, who died this week. John? Okay. May we now share in this ritual of community care and witness to one another's hearts. All that we hold in our hearts, for ourselves, for each other, and for the world, is held in this community and by a larger love that holds us all, always. Amen. My name is Rain Cielo, and I use they and fair pronouns. And a lot of you used to know me as Ray. And as far as you know, I added an N on one random afternoon for funsies. Which, don't put it past me, is definitely something I would do, but it's a little more complicated than that, just like most truths are. So Rain is a nickname, short for Renaissance. And Renaissance is oftentimes simplified to mean rebirth, but it really means becoming reinterested, reinvested, or reawakened, which is what this church has done for me. I came here in 2022, and over the course of 4 years, I've experienced the best and the worst things in life. I met my best friend here, both of us coming from religiously traumatic backgrounds, and together we grew into the types of people that love to go to church. My dad died, and I found out what it means to be held by my community when so many of you who didn't know him and barely knew me asked what you could do to help and told me that you were lighting a candle for him. I shared my writing with all of you, and you all came back telling me that it was worth hearing and you were excited for more. And when I shared my dream, a whisper of one, that I would want to become a minister, you all came back louder than any negative voice in my head, saying, absolutely. And when my best friend died, you held me in the lobby as I cried myself into dehydration, and talked with me about grief of losing someone you also loved. This place has never asked me for more than I was willing and able to give. And that is a gift I may never be able to repay. I never pictured the future before. I didn't think I would live long enough to make plans further than a month or two ahead. But now I have a 10-year plan. I have goals and aspirations and this yearning for life that hasn't existed since childhood. I have become reinvested in living, and I am my own Renaissance. But my revival came at a cost, and everyone here in some way made sure I knew it was worth paying and that I wasn't paying it alone. And so you've heard that church is more than one person or even the building, but this building holds so much for everyone who walks through those front doors. It only makes sense that we should work to make sure those front doors shut and lock properly. I knew from the day I heard about the capital campaign that I would give something to the campaign, but I wasn't really positive what until I was face-to-face with Marianne and that pledge card. And I ended up giving about 50% more than I thought was even possible for me. And I ended up volunteering to go on visits, and before any of that, I volunteered to organize these testimonials. I did all this, not because I'm addicted to church like it may seem, but because I want this building to be here for the people like me, who need this community to prove good still exists. So when you are asked, I hope you say yes to a visit, and that you help bring this building into its own renaissance. And with that, all that our church is and all that our church does is made possible by the time, talent, and treasure that we give to our shared mission. Members and friends support this congregation financially through reoccurring giving, and on Sundays we also give through our shared collection. As part of the spiritual practice of generosity, 50 cents of every dollar given now to our offering will go to Black Mamas Bailout. This fund bails out as many Black mamas and caregivers as possible so they can spend Mother's Day with their families, where they belong. The national bailout effort literally buys freedom and works to ensure that every person bailed out has access to short and long-term supportive services. Using Church Center is the easiest way to give, but if you aren't set up with the app yet, you can also give by texting GIVE and the amount you would like to give to the number on the screen. or in the offering baskets that will now be passed. In the spirit of abundance and generosity, the offering will now be given and humbly received.
Let's sing together. Morning has broken like the first morning. Has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the
So there's a theory of preaching where what happens on Sunday morning from the pulpit, what the preacher says is just at most one half of a conversation. It's a response that you've thought a little bit about after hearing from the life of the community, from the congregation. Much of what I preach about is about the spiritual questions and ideas and wrestling of this community. But I think even better today, we got it unadulterated from this community itself, from the people in it, without needing to be filtered through the vessel of me, the preacher. But there's another theory of preaching that says, preach 2 stories, explain as little as possible about the connection. And we're 2 minutes until the end, so I'm going to do that. But not actually in 2 minutes. We're going to go a little long today. So Glenn and Nancy Cook told me this story. They're members of this congregation. And, well, Nancy's husband, Glenn, told me this story about how Nancy had been having trouble hearing. It had been a little while. They knew they were overdue. Nancy was probably going to need hearing aids, but they'd been putting off going to get it checked out. But finally, a couple of years ago, they got their act together. And in solidarity, Glenn thought, I'll go too. Nancy needs hearing aids. My hearing's exceptional, but I'll go too. We'll both get our hearing tested. And so Nancy went first, and indeed, the audiologist helped her learn that there's a lot of support and she could improve her hearing experience. I've learned through this story that people wait an average of 7 years to get their hearing challenges addressed, which means for 7 years, you're more isolated and less socially connected with the people around you than you could be. So I was so proud of Nancy and delighted that Nancy went and got that addressed, and so was Glenn as he was telling me this story. And so again, in solidarity, he went in for his test, and he was looking at the technician, and well, nothing was happening. And he was sitting there for a while and nothing was happening. And I want to get his quote exactly right, oh yes. Well, if you just turn the damn thing up, I'd be able to hear. I've had hearing challenges too, slightly different, but many of you have commented that I'm really good at names, that I seem to know a lot of you and I seem to remember your names. You remark that I must be naturally good at names, but the truth is I'm naturally bad at names, and this haunts me. When I was in college, I had an embarrassing situation that's sort of the worst of embarrassing situations, because for a long time, everybody else knew it was embarrassing, and I did not. Yeah. It happened to me. So, I'm a pretty outgoing, gregarious person. I do like to introduce myself to people. I like to know what their names are, even if I don't remember. And I found myself in the cafeteria one day with a group of friends, introducing myself to a young woman, and the table went quiet. One of my friends chimed in, "Sherry, you have introduced yourself to her 8 weeks in a row." Which is embarrassing, and I shrugged it off. Okay, it's one of I believe life's secret success tips is court embarrassment. Then you're not surprised when it happens. But my friend sat me down later and said, "Yeah, it is kind of a problem, because you did it 8 weeks in a row. And it really feels like you just weren't really paying attention, that you didn't care about this person. You weren't trying to learn their name because you weren't planning to talk to them." And what I said, unfortunately, was, "That's not true. What do you mean? I was busy." Which could have been true, right? I could have been busy. I could have been stressed about the test coming up. I could have been really occupied with the limitless cereal in the college cafeteria. There could have been more important things on my mind, and that's completely legitimate. But when I sat with it, the truth was I didn't actually plan on getting to know this person. A sense of habitual politeness urged me to ask for her name, but each time she said it, I just let it pass on by. Because I don't know. I guess I didn't think that she was someone I would be curious about or want to engage in, and so I just didn't try that hard. But when my friend sat me down with kindness, right, with a real sense that that's probably not how I wanted to be and probably not how I wanted to treat the people around me, I took that seriously. I have become good at names, unnaturally good at names, because I try really, really hard to be good at names. Yes, we have different abilities, but paying attention, deciding that the people around us are worth our time, became a critical turning point for me, has shifted how I am in social interactions. Do I remember everyone's name? Absolutely not. And I will say, in the strange series of events like breaking my ankle at a board meeting, I've also found that after letting you all know that I'd be leaving at the end of June, I'm forgetting a lot of your names. Not intentionally and not always, but almost self-protectively, as if it will protect my heart from breaking. But that's not how any of this works. We pay attention to that which matters, and that's all of you. It's the people we want to get to know better. Now, hearing and listening are different, right? We can listen well by text message or by email or by simply observing someone's body language. But the point in both of these cases is that, we can get to be better listeners all on our own. We can take the hard road that John has taken through meditation. And indeed, I do recommend those spiritual practices. It's actually my job. But like most things, most skills, most things we're trying to get better at or deepen into, it's easier and better with feedback. And so I want to offer an invitation and a challenge to each of you in our mission, our shared purpose of listening deeply to others and ourselves. Over the next week or two, if you feel so brave, or if you can stand to hear the answer, ask the people around you when they know that you're really listening. And then listen. 2 stories. Maybe a little bit too much explanation, but a theory of preaching, a conversation that continues week in and week out between minister and congregation. Thank you for sharing your stories and life and learning with me. Thank you for listening deeply to yourselves and to others. May it be so. Amen. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing our closing hymn. As our time together comes to a close, I have 2 special invitations, both happening at 1 o'clock or however long it takes me to get there. The 20s and 30s group has invited the entire congregation, all of us, for a space-themed ice cream social. Did I get that? An ice cream formal. For some who are dressed, would you mind just coming forward so folks can see examples of what an ice cream formal might look like? And if folks are not dressed formally, might they attend also? Everyone is invited. And newcomers in particular, but all who haven't had a chance to, are also invited at 1, so you'll have to choose between the 2, presumably, to a renovation focus group to learn more about the, among other things, chancel ramp that we are fundraising for, that I am incredibly committed to demonstrating the need for. Before we do any of that, I want to make sure that before we light our chalice, you consider helping with the work of this congregation and stacking every chair that I am not sitting on. Please join us in our unison words and extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. We listen not because it is easy or automatic, not because it is loud, but because it is hard and because the love that it communicates is transformative. By this, we might be transformed. By this, we might change the world. Go listening deeply, knowing that the truths of others invite you into your deepest truths, and that when you listen, you invite this world into its richest, most beautiful way of being. I love you. Now go love the world. Amen.